Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of The Awesome with Cody. As usual, I'm your host, Cody, and this is the end of January. And I think I said that last episode because I forgot what day it was. But anyways, this is the last episode of January, and it is the 2019 video games episode. I will go over the video games I played this year. All of these I enjoyed. Some of them I didn't really play a whole lot of. But it's not because I didn't like them. It's just because there was other stuff to play, and I beat them, and that was it. A lot more than I thought. A lot more than I thought. These will be in order of release, not when I played them. So, that'll be it. That's that. So first up, the remake or remaster. I want to say it's a remake of Resident Evil 2. Came out early in the year, January or something like that, like a year ago. But stunning graphics, updated gameplay style or controls, very well done. I didn't play the Resident Evil 1 remake, but my buddy let me borrow his sign-on to play Resident Evil 2 remake. I say let me sign. He's on my Xbox. I just log in as him. Anyhow, really well done. Extremely fun. And a very enjoyable game. And I believe they're doing more of them. I don't know if they're going all the way through, but I do know they're doing the later ones, I think. They're not going to go in order. I don't know. But anyways, but really good. Very well done. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Anyhow, that's it. Resident Evil 2 remake. Next up, Kingdom Hearts 3, the long-awaited game, finally came out this year. Came out the same day, actually, as Resident Evil 2, which was January 25th of last year. Extremely well done. Updated graphics, obviously. Tremendous new gameplay styles with the new different fixed camera angles and different mechanics that were in the different levels to kind of change up and show you the different worlds. And of course, the addition of new franchise, or not new franchise, but different franchises from the previous games just made it that much better. And the fact that, like, I love the way, if you've never played in the Kingdom Hearts games, you play as a character named, or you play as, well, I guess you technically only play, as one person. You have companions that you can team up with, but, I mean, whatever. It doesn't matter. So Sora is your character you play as, and you have companions, which are Donald and Goofy, and you get joined by other characters from different franchises, from everything, all the Disney franchises. So you have Toy Story in here, and you have stuff from Disneyland, which is pretty cool in there. Who else is in this game? Oh, Jesus. Why am I spacing on all the different ones that are in there? So you have Pirates of the Caribbean. You had Toy Story. There was man, why am I? That's so long ago. I should know who else you play in this one. What is it? So, Lion King, Little Mermaid, Lilo and Stitch, Frozen characters. I can't remember all the ones in there. But yeah, it's a fun game. If you like action RPGs or RPGs in general, really, it's a fun one. Anyways, Kingdom Hearts 3, boom. Next up was one that I didn't play a lot, but I actually enjoyed. Just don't really play this type of game too much, which is a competitive multiplayer first-person shooter, or actually no, this one is actually a hero shooter, which also I'm not a fan of, but I think this is very well done, and that's Apex Legends. It's brought to you by the team who made Titanfall. It actually was I guess it was supposed to be a version of Titanfall 3 or something like that, but it's the Battle Royale mode. It has nothing to do with Titans because you don't actually play as Titans, you play as Legends, which are essentially high-level pilots, as well as, just soldiers in general, and they have different abilities. A hero shooter, for folks who don't know, essentially means every character has a set ability and special attacks and special abilities that change the way you play the game. And I'm not a huge fan of that because I don't like being locked down to like one play style, but whatever. It was actually a really fun game, very well done, very fast-paced, a lot of fun stuff to be had in it. Pretty fun game. Apex Legends. Next up is Crackdown 3. Crackdown is one of my favorite franchises of all time. I've been waiting years for this, delay after delay after delay. Finally, it came out. I burned through it. If you like the Crackdown games, you're going to love this game. It's more the same, as people would say, just better graphics because it's on a newer console, bigger world, more things to do in it, bigger different vehicles, ridiculous weapons, and just good times. And, of course, you get to play as a character voiced by Terry Crews, if you wish to do so, which I did because it's hilarious. And it's just lots of fun. Lots of shooting, lots of blowing stuff up, as I like to say, lots of throwing things, killing people, and, it's good times. Lots of orbs to collect. I did play the multiplayer called Wrecking Zone a little bit during the beta tests, but I am terrible at multiplayer versus stuff, so I didn't play a lot of it, but that's neither here nor there. Next up, so that was Crackdown 3. Next up is Far Cry New Dawn, a game I did not think I was going to enjoy, because it's a pseudo sequel to Far Cry 5, which is one of my favorite games from the year before, from 2018. Not that I talked about it on here, but just so you know. And this one essentially takes place 17 years after the event of Far Cry 5. And it's a post-apocalyptic looter shooter. It's not really a looter shooter. It's a shooter. Technically speaking, it's a first-person shooter. There's a little bit of looting in it, but not like a game I'll get to later. Two games I'll get to later. But still really fun. New weapons, new animals to use and utilize and things like that. And they did a really cool thing in this one that gave them ability to expand on just the game itself, but also playable areas. That would be the, what do they call it, excursions? Is that what it's called? I think, if I remember correctly. Basically, you get picked up by a helicopter and brought to a new map that is, a lot of them are very vast and very big, for essentially side missions to do different things. It's just, a lot of fun, and it kind of, if they wanted to, I don't know if they have plans for it, but much like the Far Cry 5 with the arcade system where you could build maps, this one would give them ability to expand on new areas just by jumping in a helicopter and going to a new place that would load up. So, pretty cool. Far Cry New Dawn is what that one is. That one came out in February, but whatever. Next up, same day, was Metro Exodus, the third game in the Metro series. Another first-person shooter. There's a trend, if you go along with me on this, a lot of violent video games. Matter of fact, all of them are violent video games. But Metro Exodus is the third game in the Metro series, based on the book series by a guy whose name I'm not going to even try to pronounce. But just a fun set of games. This one changes up a little bit and you have more mods on your weapons, and you can change weapons on the fly. As you scavenge for materials to craft different weapons and different gear, it kind of changes up. You can change a pistol into a rifle, change how shotguns fire, different ammo, things like that. Just a fun game. This is the first time you get to go outside in the world and kind of see the open vastness of the world. And it's there's sandbox environments, as it says here. It's a mixture of linear and sandbox, but it's pretty fun. You can go different ways. You can go up, you can go down, go through buildings, things like that. But it's just a fun game. If you've played the other ones, this one's just as good, if you ask me. I thought it was stupendous. And I believe, not a sponsor, but I believe it's on Game Pass on the Xbox. If you have that or you subscribe to that, you can play this as well as the other two remastered versions of Metro 2035 and Metro Last Light. But yeah, it's a fun, really fun game. Metro Exodus. Next up is a game that I had huge hopes for. That was really fun. It just had a lot of problems with it, and that's Anthem. Stupendous game for the most part. It had a lot of technical difficulties. It didn't really land the promises they were trying. They were trying to do a very, very ambitious game. I think they rushed it out too soon. They needed to keep it and bake it more, because it definitely did fall. It's a cake reference, but it's a very well made game. It just had a lot of problems, and as they tried to patch it, it kind of made it worse and had a lot of crashes. And like I said, it was very ambitious. They did an amazing job, but it was just, I think they brought it out too soon. They needed more time. And hopefully when they release, as they refer to as Anthem 2.0, hopefully sometime this year, they're revamping a lot of stuff. Maybe I'll pick it up and try it again. But when it was working, the guys and I had a really fun time playing it. And it's just fun. It is a little different than most. It's a lot of people. It's an open world sandbox looter shooter. Very light on the loot, unfortunately. But it was just real fun. And had a lot of cool ideas in it. I like the world they built. They did a pretty dope ass short film with Neil Blomkamp in his Oat Studios, which is pretty cool. But it was a fun game, and hopefully they will fix all the issues they had. But Anthem was really, I enjoyed the game a lot. Played it for a long time, longer than I should have, probably because of a lot of the failings they had in it from the launch. To tell you the truth, even in the beta, it had some weird issues. Next up is a game I got to play early, and I really enjoyed, but I'm terrible at it. That's okay, because it's just entertainment for me, which is Devil May Cry 5 by Capcom. Came out in March. Super violent game. I'm not great at the combos. Never have been in the Devil May Cry series. But tremendously fun game. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I like the story. I don't really know the story completely. Some of it gets lost on me because it's been years since I played a lot of the games. But just a really fun game to play through. I like the vast, it's not like a sandbox type game, but I like the open areas, and you kind of, when you get good chain combos together, it's just satisfying. You get that grade on there. I'm terrible at it, so I didn't really ever get like A's and shit like that, or S's, I think it goes up to. But I was, I'm a C student when it comes to Devil May Cry 5. I don't get all them style points, but it's pretty fun anyways. And I like the customability of Nero, is it Nero? Right, Nero's arm, with the different upgrades and stuff. And you can get the Mega Blaster from Mega Man, things like that. So pretty fun. Devil May Cry 5. Next up, the game I'm still technically consistently playing as much as I can whenever the guys and I get on, because it's a lot more fun with other people. But is Tom Clancy's The Division 2. I talked about this game in a previous episode this year. I want to say it was this year, right? I think I did Tom Clancy games, or video games in general. I did Tom Clancy games one episode. But yeah, Division 2, super fun, looter shooter, sandbox environment, very well done. Made a lot of improvements, still making some and balancing and things like that. But I think they did a lot of good things from the first game to the second game. And the newest episode 3 will be out, I think, in a couple weeks or so, whatever. But really good support on this game. We're coming up to almost a year as of March 15th. So, I mean, we're almost at a year. We're 2 months away, or less than 2 months away. But just a really fun game. Really fun. I prefer to play it with at least one other person, because it can get kind of ridiculous by yourself if you're trying to do the high level stuff, but still fun. Always down for the grind to find the better stuff, even though kind of haven't been able to find a lot of the better stuff, better stuff than what I have already. Tom Clancy's Division 2. Next up, another game that I enjoyed, didn't spend a whole lot of time. I beat the campaign, and that was it. And that's Gears 5 or Gears of War 5. If you're a real person, I don't know why they call it Gears 5, but Gears of War 5. And I know why. Technically, they didn't want the word war in the name anymore because snowflakes or whatever. But it's Gears of War 5. Everyone knows what it is. Third-person shooter. If you've played the other games, or especially if you played Gears of War 4, essentially the same game, just a couple extra new mechanics in it. Your different playable character. It's point of view. Mainly, you're playing through Kate. A little bit of JD, a little bit of Dell, and a little bit of Marcus in there as well. But really fun game. It's gorgeous as well. But yeah, that's again more of the same, but a different point of view, a different story. But fun game. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Next up, we have Borderlands 3, another game I played a lot, and I want to go back to. But it's one of those games where it's a lot better with other people, and I just don't have many people to play with. I can play with randos, but it's not as fun to talk shit to randos. So I like to play with my friends more than anything else. But great game, very well done. It's one of those things where they did a lot of these weird balancing things, which some of I understand with like the overpoweredness of some of the guns, but it's like basically you play this game to be a gun-toting god, so I might as well just give you stuff that just one-shots everything in sight. But whatever. Still a fun game, increasingly hilarious, great addition to the series, and I can't wait for the further expansions. I haven't played the newest one, which is the Moxie's expansion with the but I tried playing the Mile 1 Takeover, and I do not have good enough stuff for that. The Halloween event was fun, or the whatever you want to call it, the Bloody Harvest. It was really fun, but I fell off playing it because the two people I was playing with both stopped playing it, so it just wasn't as fun. Especially the higher level stuff, you definitely need other people. For me, at least, I'm not a min maxer, so I'm not tweaking my my play to be stupid like some of these other people are. I just kind of play it for fun, and I just want to play with other people. But yeah, that's it for that one. Next up, a game again I played just the campaign on. It's fantastic. I loved it. It's Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the 2019 edition, because technically Call of Duty Modern Warfare was the very first Modern Warfare game. This has got the same name, kind of the same story in a way, but more flushed out, and you can't really say it's a remake, more of like a overhaul. But anyways, tremendously made game, super fun, Story was awesome. I played none of the multiplayer, so I do not know if it's any good. I've watched a bunch of it. No, actually, I've watched some of it, and when you watch people who are good at it play it, it looks really fun. I am terrible at multiplayer games, so I didn't play it. But the campaign, super fun, very well done. I love the guns in it. They felt great. The combat's real fun. The little tweaks they made to it with the mantling system and the I guess you can call it cover system or whatever you want to call that. But not really a cover system like Gears has. Anyways, it's just a fun game. And it's well made game, very much so. And last but not least is the last game of the year that I played. It came out in November. It is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Again, I played through the story. I didn't really do much else. It's an interesting way they made it. There's a lot more of like the stuff I didn't do in the game, but it's a really well-made game. EA did Respawn did an amazing job on it. Respawn, a guy, of course, the people who made Titanfall, the former Call of Duty people. But yeah, it's just a super fun game to play. The new character that you play in the game and his droid buddy are a great addition to the canon, and it's set in the time basically in between episode 3 and A New Hope. But it's all about basically Jedi being hunted down by the basic Inquisitors and things like that, and it's just a amazingly made game. The one thing I kind of wish it had was dismemberment, just because of how gorgeous the combat is. It'd be nice to be able to pop limbs off and heads, but whatever. That's more of just my violent tendencies or whatever. But I think it was very well done, and I look forward to more of it. Hope they don't rush out a sequel and they take their time and make another one around the same. It doesn't even have to be a sequel, just another one in this the same kind of gameplay and tell another fun story. But it really was one of the best games where you played as a Jedi. You really felt the powers, and the lightsaber combat was really good, and they balanced it real well. And it was just customability was pretty cool too, with the different sabers and different colors and things like that. It was just all around, it was a stupendous game. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I played it late in the year, and I borrowed it from a friend, same guy who let me sign into his account. So I didn't really spend too much time on it and deep dive into it, but the little bit I did play, or the little bit I expanded into it, was actually pretty fun. Good time, and it was a great, well-made game, and I believe they're doing expansions, which are free, I think. I could be wrong about that, but I believe they're doing expansions. I will pick that back up if they do add some stuff in to it, because I think they are doing. I just don't know. Super fun game. That's Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which is a kind of a not a direct sequel or sequel or anything, but in the there's a series of Star Wars games called Star Wars Jedi, and this one Fallen Order is in there with them, and I think it's very well done, because Jedi Outcast 2 was one of my favorite Star Wars games way back in the day. But yeah, anyways, that was it for that. That's the last game of the year that I played. But yeah, that's all of them. It was really fun playing through most of those. I might revisit some of them, the more of the linear stuff, Don't know how much I'll play of it again, just because the experience is done once you beat it, really. But yeah, that's it for this week's episode and this month's theme officially again, because I'm an idiot and I didn't think of the right one. I thought it was last week was the last episode, whatever. But that's been Video Games of 2019, and that's the end of this episode of the Awesome with Cody. And as usual, I'm your host, Cody. And like I always say, at the end of each episode, let's be awesome.